Welcome to week 4 of making an ad at home every single week for an entire year in a row. This week is really fun and exciting. I made an ad for Kinko instant smoothies. I have never tried this brand before until I made this ad, but I was really attracted to their branding and all the colors. And I like the idea of playing around with using real fruit for this ad. And I was able to do something I've never done before, which is making my own set. Now, it's not as elaborate as it may sound, but I will show you how I made this kitchen set from start to finish and exactly how I made this ad. Yeah, let's just get straight into it. Okay, so to make this kitchen set, I basically wanted to look like the products were sitting on top of a counter inside of an actual kitchen. So to do that, I had to make 2 pieces. To make the towel backsplash, I basically used a styrofoam board and peel and stick towel pieces, and I put the peel and stick towel onto the board. I wanted the board to be pretty big. This board that I got was 3 feet by 4 feet. I couldn't find one that size that wasn't a trifold, but it worked out fine. All I had to do was put this masking tape on the back where the board would usually fold, and then I went in and put the peel and stick towel pieces onto the styrofoam board. This process seems like it should be easy, but for some reason I was having troubles with it. Okay, I guess because I was putting it on the styrofoam, if I did make any mistakes and tried to pull it up, the top layer of the styrofoam would come up as well, and it kind of messed me up at some point. So if you can, try not to have to pull it up and like just do it right the first time, but that's easier said than done. Maybe this can be modified with using a different type of material, but I wanted something lightweight so that I can just attach it to a C-stand later, and this seemed like the best option for me at the time, so this is what we're working with. I used about 2 packs, and each of the packs that I got said that they covered 10 square feet, I believe. It came with 10 1x1 squares, and of course I messed up like 2 of them and I had a few left over, so I would get 2 packs just in case you do something similar. And then I went through and I cut off the hanging parts on the side. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I thought it would look a little bit better and be easier to store if it was like that. All right, so next we're gonna make our marble countertops. Shout out to Grace Wells for teaching me how to do this in her product film school. I absolutely love her work, so being able to learn from her is amazing. But basically what she taught me to do was to basically just get these melamine boards from any like home improvement store. I got mine from Home Depot, and then you also get some contact paper. I'll link below the exact one that I use, and all you have to do is put the contact paper onto the board and boom, you have any surface you want. Now I found mine at Home Depot. It didn't come in this size originally, but they did cut it down for me. The size you want to get will depend solely on you, depending on how big your space is. My space is pretty big, but my car on the other hand is not, so I had to measure my trunk to make sure that whatever I get would fit inside of there. So I just got something that was 3 feet by 4 feet, and that fit perfectly on top of my table and in my space. As you can see, all I did was place the marble countertop on top of the table that I usually use. And for the towel backsplash, all I did was get my C-stand and make it go out as far as it could, and a few clamps that came with my backdrop stand, and clamped it to the C-stand, lowered it a bit so that it was the same level with the marble countertop, and I kept it a few inches away from the countertop just so it looked like it had a little bit more space in it, and boom, we have us a kitchen set. All right, now onto the actual behind the scenes of this video. The first thing I did was set up all my fruit. Again, we're making an ad for Kinko instant smoothies, which is basically an easy and fast way for people to get more fruit and vegetables into their diet. So I thought a good way of demonstrating that was to actually use fruit into our props and backgrounds. So for the first shot, I wanted the video to open on a sticky note on a kitchen background that says goal, eat more fruits and veggies. So what I had to do basically was just write out exactly that on a sticky note, put it onto the towel backdrop and record it. I wanted it to kind of zoom out into the next shot, so I did a few in-camera movements. That didn't necessarily work out for me, and I ended up doing the zoom digitally, but at least I gave it a shot. For the next shot, I kind of wanted to introduce Kinko as like the solution of the goal of eating more fruits and veggies. So I set up the bottle as well as a few of the flavor packets on our marble countertop along with some fruit behind it. For the next shot, we're going to do one of the packets pouring into the bottle. What I had in mind is that the camera will follow the packet as it pours into the bottle. But of course it's only me doing this, so trying to flip the camera over and pour into the bottle, it'll take me a minute to be able to do both of these things and do multiple things at once. So this didn't turn out exactly how I wanted it to, but it's good practice for the future. So the next shot will be me pouring water into the bottle. I also recorded this in 120 frames per second just so we can have a nice slow motion pour. All right, we're moving pretty fast with these shots, but the next one is me just putting the lid back onto the cup and twisting it closed. And then we move into the shot of me shaking all of the bottles. Basically, I'm just following the steps of what you would do if you're making this smoothie. And then we move into the shot, which will be our last shot of me slamming the Kinko bottle down onto the countertop. Now we're gonna move into our overhead shot. So for this first one, I wanted to show all of the flavor packets that I had. I noticed that Kinko sells subscription boxes on their website, so I tried to replicate that. And all I did was basically find a box that I already had. I cut the top off and then I put it onto our rotating Lazy Susan. I also organized the fruit so that it basically looks really nice surrounding the flavors as it spins around. All right, now we're moving into our last sequence of shots, and for this I wanted to showcase the different flavors, and to do that I had an idea of choosing some fruit from each flavor, laying it out, and then putting the packet over top of those. So we had kind of like the packets over a better fruit type of thing. So before I put the fruit down on the contact paper, I used this piece of glass that came in a frame that I got from Goodwill just to help keep the contact paper from getting wet. I don't think the contact paper would matter if it got wet, but if I did this on like a paper backdrop, this would be really helpful. And I also just wanted to keep the fruit as clean as possible so I could eat it later. And I basically went through and did this for all the flavors that I had. All of them except for the blue flavor. I didn't do that one because it didn't really have any blue fruits. If that makes sense, they used some type of blue powder or something. I don't even remember what it's called. But I just did these four and it worked out fine. But yeah, this shoot turned out to be one of my favorite ones. I really enjoyed not having to use the green screen, especially when it came to editing, because that editing can take a lot. But this is how the final ad turned out. Let me know what you think about it in the comments, and also let me know what you think that I should do next. I'll see you guys next week.